What's up, guys? We are live. Welcome back to the Ange TV show, guys. It is today, Wednesday, which means I have another very special guest for you guys waiting backstage. I want to give a quick shout out to Nir Gozinski, who's his buddy. He actually recommended him, so shout out to Nir Gozinski. I see some people trickling in. What's up, Rob? What's up, Ms. Laki? Everybody that's coming in here, especially if you're from our guests' entourage, don't forget to like the music video, like the video, comment, subscribe, and share it out with all your friends, guys, because you don't want to miss this conversation that I'm about to have with the award-winning singer, recording artist, guys, also philanthropist, writer, and filmmaker, none other than Mr. Stephen Voyce.
What? Thank you.
You're shell-shocked right now, right?
Thank you. What an intro. I feel so special.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What's up, Steve? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's a beautiful day. It's not too hot, not too cold in Montreal. It's just like the right weather. Yeah, man. It's a good day. I'm happy to be on, dude. I'm really happy to be on.
Listen, it's a pleasure to have you. Like I said, in my eyes, you're a legend here, especially a Canadian legend in the recording industry. So I'm very happy to have you. Jay Wild, who's actually he's a young gun when it comes to the game. He's from, I believe, California, right, Jay Wild? His name's Jay Wild Music. He has a lot of good songs. You might want to check him out. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But the burning question, Steve.
Yes.
Who is Stephen Voyce?
Oh man, that is a good question. Who is Stephen Voyce, man? I feel like the definition of who I am has changed over time.
Yeah.
Like when I first started, to be honest, when I first started making music for me was just something that I could do. It was a talent that I had. I wanted to be like Michael Jackson, like that's what it was. And that's who I was. But as time went on, after a lot of tragedy in my life, learning a lot of deep lessons and seeing how, life can take you up and down, my music career took me in a direction where I realized that I was meant to really create music and connect with the world. And it sounds super cliche, but that's who Stephen Voyce is. I just want to use my craft as a means to share a message, whatever that message is, whatever it is that's inside me that needs to come out. I want to use that. I want to use my platform to say something worth saying. So that's Stephen Voyce, man. I'm just someone that's passionate about creativity, passionate about humanity, and wants to see us be better versions of ourselves.
Yeah. So basically, you're a hard worker, Steve, right?
Yes, that is true.
You guys, you got to be busy. I was watching a video by the great Gary Vee. He's so inspirational. He was saying, he's like, out of 365 days, he's like, he does nothing for about 7 to 20 days a year. That he's doing like absolutely nothing. Yeah. So my point being, and I'm sure you could testify for this, you always got to be busy. You always got to keep going. Even if you are tired sometimes or you're not as motivated, you got to get things done.
Yeah.
Right, Steve?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Cause I feel like a lot of people, they try to push, their whole thing is like, when I'm motivated, I want motivation. But like sometimes motivation isn't there. Like, it's kind of like when you're at the gym, when you're working out, like the real work happens in those last few reps where you're dead and exhausted. But that's where the real work happens. Like when you're good to go and you have all that energy in your prime and all that stuff, you're working out, but you're really just maintaining. Yeah. But it's when you push like beyond yourself, that's when you start doing work. And it's the same thing. Like some days I wake up and I don't feel motivated at all to go record a song or go film this or go do that. I just want to stay in bed and that's it. Yeah. But I push myself. I go like, I may not be motivated right now, but I'm going to push myself. I'm going to do something even if I don't necessarily want to do it right now. And then at the end of it, you just feel better about yourself because you feel like I accomplished something. I pushed beyond my own limits. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't rest. You should obviously take some time to mentally recharge. That's super important. But don't wait for motivation to come before you do things. Sometimes you just have to do it,
Yeah, you're 100% right, Stephen. I can tell you, I have friends that are other YouTubers, other podcasters. A lot of them, they just take a break for the entire summer. Some of them even longer.
Yeah.
But, it's okay. That's fine. You're allowed to take a break. But you have to understand you're going to be losing a bit of rhythm.
Yeah.
There might be some people that are going to be not interested anymore because of how long you've been away.
Yeah.
And that's what I admire from you, Stephen. It's your social media presence, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But King Gio, what's up? King Gio's in the building. How you doing, brother? But I want to know, Steve, I want to know about your childhood. You were saying about as a young man growing up. What was going on, the young Stephen? Like, what did you have to deal with? Like, what did you like to do when you were a kid? Was it different from now? I want to know about your childhood a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been like very adventurous as a human being. I'm a very curious person. Like curiosity, I always hate that term "curiosity killed the cat" because I feel like it stifles people from wanting to learn and ask questions. I feel like it's a way to kind of hold people back. Mm-hmm. So no, I was curious, and I'm definitely still alive. So it didn't kill the cat. That's who I've been. But like growing up, I dealt with my fair share of hardships. My parents. They had a rough marriage, let's just be honest about that. And, things weren't always peachy at home. And, some days were really difficult. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that. They don't talk, we don't really talk about how our childhoods affect us, and the difficulties that children go through. And then sometimes they build these walls and they build traumas that, that follow them. And I definitely had my fair share of traumas that came from my childhood. But the one thing that always kind of I kept my eye on was this love and passion for music, and like I said before, it came from from Michael Jackson, but really it's because my mom loved Michael Jackson so much. She was so she loved his craft and his art and who he was so much that I wanted to be like Michael, because she looked up to him so much that I wanted to be someone that people looked up to that extent. So in a way, it's almost like I wanted my mom to see me the way she sees Michael. So yeah, I followed his music and I loved the way he could sway a crowd. And I knew that one day, he could make people cry, just with his voice. And I wanted to be able to do that. I wanted to be able to convey an emotion with my music. And that's who I was. I was a kid. I was just someone constantly exploring, looking into the night sky, looking at the moon, looking at the stars, and going, "What else is out there?" And that's always been something that's been a part of me, is that need for discovery.
Interesting. It's funny, Stephen. You're really good at this. You answered 3 of my questions in one. That's good. That's good. You're on point, dude. But like I said, you said about dealing with your mom. Passing away at a young age, and for people like for example, I've had my parents all this time. I'm 29, moving out soon. But my point is, my whole upbringing, they were there for me, right? Yep. And I could just imagine not having a mother. Yeah, I don't know what the circumstances of her death, but you know what I mean. It's just it's good that you took. It was a defining moment in your life. You took it and you said, I'm gonna be a great recording artist. I'm gonna grow my following. People are gonna be inspired by me. You mentioned Michael Jackson is your inspiration. Well, listen, I don't think that, I'm honestly going to say, I just don't see there being another entertainer as good as Michael Jackson or comparable. I think he's one in the world, doing one of one. The guy just had amazing music, amazing flow. Unfortunately, a lot of rumors and stupidities got to him. Now, it's normal when you get to that point in fame and everything. People get jealous and whatnot. But it's cool that you're inspired by Michael Jackson. That's an amazing measuring stick right there. You know what I mean?
He's such an amazing artist, and I mean the thing about, I don't want to talk about the whole allegations against him, because the thing is, who knows? Is it true? Is it not true? I don't know. And for me, it's if it's true, that's horrible, and then there's no question about that. But I can never deny that the impact his music had on me. It's funny. I had a I'm not going to mention the name of the corporation, but they were doing a biography on me. And I had mentioned, the whole thing about Michael Jackson, and they wrote me going hey, are you sure you want to keep that in with the whole allegations? Is that something you really want to have associated with you? Wow. And I said, I don't, whether it's true or not, that's one thing. Again, like I said, if it's true, that's horrible. But I'm not going to block out a part of my history. I'm not going to now no longer say that his music drove me. And that's the thing, is it's his music. It's who he was as a creative that drove me, and I cannot just blank that out because of something. And like I said, if it's something he did, it's horrible. But I cannot deny that his music drove me, and I will not. I won't stop saying that. because it'll be me denying a part of my history.
So I can say you're probably against cancel culture, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is like, I the thing I don't like in today's world is it's this belief that no one is can be given a second chance.
Mhm.
There are certain things that people do that are, I feel like, I don't know. I cannot. I'm not here to judge anyone, but certain things are beyond. I feel like just are really far out there.
Mhm.
But the things that we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and we have to also be apprehensive of that. Like we cannot kill off people, or just
Mhm.
completely erase them because of an act. We have to give them the benefit of doubt.
Mhm.
But then again, like I said, there are certain things that are just too far out there that are just they're hard to forgive. So
Yeah,
it's a weird dichotomy.
for sure.
But yeah, just canceling someone because of something they said like 20 years ago when they were 10 years old. That's I can't deal with that.
Yeah. So listen, I also read in your biography, you're actually a vegetarian.
Yes.
Okay, now were you always a vegetarian? Were you brought up as a vegetarian?
No.
Was there a point in your life where you said, for whatever X, Y, Z reason, you wanted to become a vegetarian? What's the story with that?
Yeah, well, I'll start by saying that as a kid, I was a carnivore. Like, I don't even know. I don't think I knew what vegetable was as a kid. Like, I was just like, I was meat. I grew up in I'm a Nigerian. Like, I'm
Yeah.
Nigerian Canadian, but I grew up in Nigeria for the most part. And like in at least when I was a kid, a big part of the Nigerian diet was meat, like goat meat and chicken meat and all that stuff. So like I was a carnivore, and that's all I knew.
Hmm.
And then when it was a few years, it's at least 10 years now,
Hmm.
that I started to visit farms on the outskirts,
Yeah.
and really look into how animals were being treated, and
Hmm.
I just realized that there was a certain ethical point, there was a certain ethical limit that I felt was being violated,
Yeah.
and I took it upon myself to say, like, and I said, while I'm living in the Western world, I'm going to not have meat. I said, as long as I'm in the Western world, because I believe in animal rights. I believe that no one should treat anything without respect, or at least some level of humanity, even if it's an animal.
Yeah.
So I chose not to eat meat in the Western world, but I said that if I ever, when I go back to Nigeria, I will eat meat.
Hmm.
But then I was vegetarian for so long that when I went to Nigeria after, I just couldn't process it. Like I went near meat and it made me like I physically was repulsed by it. So
Wow.
so it's my this vegetarian lifestyle. First, it came from a need to want to make a point for myself anyway, to say
Okay.
I want to be ethical. For myself. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong. Like I said, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with eating meat. I feel that there's something wrong with the way we manufacture and mass produce in the
Yeah.
Western world, and that there's a way we abuse living things, even other human
Yeah.
beings, which I feel like it's not right. So for
Hmm.
me, I walked away from eating meat for that reason.
Okay. Wow. And you know what? Your answer is pretty close to what I was thinking. Usually, when people become vegetarian, it's because of all the what they do to animals. Like
Yeah,
it's the way they kill them inhumanely. I saw on YouTube there was a rabbit being pulled by its neck, a little kid doing it, and he wasn't doing it properly, and then the rabbit was still alive.
yeah.
But that's a topic for a whole nother
That's a
discussion.
the big
Uh,
topic.
PB the Cool is in the building. He's also a rapper, actually, from the UK. He's only 15 years old.
Oh, nice.
He's a cool cat out there. What's up, PB the Cool? Thank you for coming, buddy. And also, mega shout out to Audrey in the chat. What's up? Now, this is a great question, Stephen. Take us through, because you are a recording artist. Take us through a day in the life of a recording artist, from when you wake up. What do you got? You got your exercise in, then you go to the recording studio. Then you talk to managers. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But what's it like one day in the shoes of a recording artist?
Well, I'm the kind of recording artist. I'm a very independent person. So I'm not a big fan of speaking to people, asking them for advice on what they think I should or shouldn't do with my career. So when it comes to management, I'm more of a kind of person that wants to self-manage himself. Now that's not saying that I won't work with a manager if I feel someone really aligns with who I am at my core
Yeah.
as a creative. But right now, at least right now in my life, I'm enjoying the independence of discovery, right? So, but so when I wake up in the morning, honestly, it depends. It completely depends. But I'll tell you the things that I absolutely need to do with my day. One is it's really important for me to work out, whether it means going to the gym, or working out at home or going for a jog or something. It's very important because I always feel like when I don't work out, I just feel less energetic.
Yeah,
I feel
and
like
less confidence, right? When you don't work out.
yeah, it's like when I work out, I just gain this like strength, so to speak, not just physical, but also like like emotional and mental. I just feel more alert. So I work out. I'm usually like an evening workout person, but sometimes I work out in the afternoon. But when it comes to creating it all, I ironically I try to give myself a schedule, because
Mhm.
I try to still treat, because at the end of the day, this is a job, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a job I love a lot, but it's still a job. So I try to regiment it. Like I have different businesses, so to speak, that I run. Like whether it's being an affiliate partner with a certain company. For example, I
Okay.
work with Waves Music Studio, which is
Nice.
a I don't know if you know them. They're
I think I heard of
sound
them. Yeah.
sound software. So I work with them as an affiliate partner. So sometimes I help promote some of their stuff. I film videos related to their content, to their products, and I put out that kind of content. So I give myself, or like I check my schedule for the day and I kind of plan myself around that. But when
Oh.
it comes to recording music, I'm actually at the point in my career when it comes to songs for me, I
Mhm.
will only record a song if something speaks to me to do it. Like I won't just go and write and record a song for the sake of it. I
Okay.
will wait for like the something to will just happen in my head. I'll just know, and I always just know. It's like I'll be playing a video game, for example, and I'll hear like a bass line in my head,
Yeah.
and then if that baseline persists, I know I need to go lay that down. And then when I go lay that down, 4 or 5 hours later, I have a whole song recorded. So
Wow.
like, so yeah, man, the process, it's like when it comes to the full on creativity, I kind of allow the universe, so to speak, to kind of guide me, but I'm very
Mhm.
regimented with everything else. Like I'm very
Okay.
regimented because I know how important it is to have a schedule as a
Yeah.
creator, because it's so easy to get lost in like the magic of it
Of
all and
course.
get nothing done.
Yeah, and there's also distractions and stuff. And Steve, what a lot of people don't realize, like people say, when are you going on tour? When are you putting out your next album? There's like so much to deal with, dude. You're dealing with your manager, your publicist. You're dealing with critics. You're dealing with going into the studio, recording stuff. Because people just think, oh, it's COVID. No, no, it's not that. It's just COVID. People are recording songs right now, right?
Yeah,
So there's planning the tours. Then there's going on your Instagram, because social media is so important.
super important.
Making sure you upload all the time, constantly. Which
Yeah,
that's something you do, Stephen.
yeah,
We're gonna talk about that later. It's coming up. I'm gonna ask you a bit about your social media, because that's something that's remarkable, and
yeah.
something you do well. But I want to know first. You put out singles. Which single do you think really hit the hardest? Like did the best? Which particular single of yours?
Well, okay, I'll give you two answers. I'll give you the one that I know is like the most commercial one, right?
Mhm.
And then I'll give you the one that I like, that's my personal favorite.
Okay.
So like the one that everyone loves, and like, because it came out and like it just kind of smacked everyone in the face with, like, it was my first super mainstream song. It came
Okay.
out in 2018, and that's Summerlust. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
was gonna say that
yeah,
was a good song.
Summerlust. I will go to, like, I'll go to a bar or a club or whatever, and like if the DJ sees me, like a few minutes later, I'm going to hear Summerlust being played. They'll play it, and then I'll look at them and they'll be like, "Hey," and I'll be like, "Hey," because so it's cool. I really appreciate that song, and it's one of the songs I perform like probably at every single show I do. I perform
Wow.
it. But my personal, well, actually, there's two answers here. My favorite song is always the one I'm about to put out, or
Yeah.
the one I just recorded. Like whenever I just record a song, I will listen to it like for 15 days in a
Mm.
row nonstop, and I'll
Wow.
walk around with my headphones on, and I'll look at people, and I'll be like, y'all, you don't know what I'm listening to right now. Like you don't know what's about to hit you in a few months, like. So I'll do that. But like one of my favorite songs, honestly, is a song that came out at the end of 2020, and it's a song called Promised Land.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of my favorites, man. Like, and it's
Mhm.
I wish we lived in a world where it didn't come out during COVID, because COVID did limit me in terms of what I can do in terms of marketing and promotion.
Yeah.
So once the world opens up, I'm gonna do a big push on all the songs that came out during this point, and then re-push them. But yeah, Promised Land is such a great song, and it's because it combines like dark pop, which I really love, and then the
Yeah.
80s. And I'm an 80s kid, so like I wanted to make a song that really spoke that language. So yeah,
Yeah.
Promised Land is probably my favorite song, and I know for some people it's also their favorite. So yeah, it's so when people
Nice.
when people talk to me about their favorite song from me, it's either Summer Lust or Promised Land.
Yeah, exactly. Like I love the Summer Love song. I saw found
Yeah,
it on Instagram. It's amazing, dude. So now onto your social media, which
yeah,
I noticed you upload a lot. You do have a girlfriend, I believe. She's also
yes,
on social media.
Oro Marzo. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oro Marzo. So you do like a lot of collabos with her.
yeah.
But I want to know, like, take us through your creative process when it comes to uploading videos on Instagram. How long does it take you to come up with the ideas? How do you come up with the ideas? I want to know the whole spiel about Instagram here.
Yeah. Well, for me, so when Instagram first launched like a few years ago,
Yeah.
I remember some of my friends sent the platform to me, and they were like, "This would be really good for you." And I looked at
Yeah.
it, and I thought this is when it was just photos, and I was like, I mean, I don't know. So I joined it, and like I would upload here and there, and then I started to notice that people started to follow me and listen to what I was about. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use this platform as a way to advertise, my music and all that stuff. And I started to do that, and my following started to grow more and more, and people started to gravitate towards that. But like, I would post a lot about music, and then even at some point, I started to feel like I'm more than just a musician. Like there's more to me, and I feel like this platform can allow me to show people more about me than just the music.
Yeah.
So I
Exactly.
started posting, things like with captions about how I was feeling that day or my emotions and stuff like that. And I started to realize that people were connecting a lot with the person behind the music, which is me.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it started to connect a lot with me, the power of Instagram as a social media platform.
Mhm.
And then when they came out with videos, I was like, this is a whole game changer. Like,
Yeah.
videos? Are you kidding me right now? So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna start using that to release little snippets of me singing here and there. At first, I think it
Yeah.
was 15 seconds, and then became a minute, and then I think now it's like you have IGTV and whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I realized that Instagram is like this for artists. I feel like it's the most important platform
Oh
because
yeah.
it's like the central hub of like who are you, not just as a
Exactly.
creator or as a podcaster or as a filmmaker, but like who are you as a person. You can really bring people into your world.
Yeah. And
So
I find, like, honestly, Instagram, I find it so much more generous than
mm,
any other social media platform. Like, you could get like literally 10 times the reach on Instagram than on YouTube or whatever, TikTok or whatever. Like, it's incredible. They're very, especially with the reels.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
know they're pushing out the reels because they're trying to compete with TikTok and everything, but I'm telling you, Instagram is I could say it's almost crucial.
yeah.
It's seriously crucial.
It's absolutely crucial. I feel like at this point,
Yeah.
like if you're a creator or a business owner, you need to have an Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Facebook is important, TikTok is really important right now,
Mhm.
but like where I see I mean, I'm getting off topic, but like other
Mhm.
platforms where they can like even TikTok, it's growing and all that stuff, but it has
Yeah.
there's something about it that makes me feel like it has a life expectancy or lifespan,
Yeah.
and eventually it has the potential to die off,
Of course. Yeah.
because it has such a specific kind of purpose,
Yeah.
where Instagram is more like I said, Instagram allows you to showcase yourself as a
Mhm.
person, period. Anyway, off topic.
Yeah.
So I mean, so when it comes to creating my posts, luckily I have a lot of photographers that I work with.
Mhm.
So I get to create with, and my girlfriend Oral Marzo is a photographer as well. So
Oh,
like
nice.
she takes a lot of my photos. But I'm
Mhm.
gonna tell you a little secret. So when I first started posting like professional photos on Instagram, I knew that if I wanted to work with professional photographers, my photos had to look professional to begin with.
Yeah.
So I bought myself like a Canon, like a cheaper Canon, whatever, and I started taking my own like professional photos, like real like whatever, and I would post them, and then photographers would reach out to me, going like, "Oh man, I see you work with a lot of photographers. I want to work with you as well." And so really my whole photography base came from them believing that I had a photographer, but the photographer was me. So
Wow.
like, yeah, so I always tell, other creators, make sure your Instagram is like looks professional. Like if you're going to
Absolutely.
post photos, like I know a lot of people will say things, and I feel like even Gary Vee says this, so I'm really
Yeah.
sorry to say this to go against what he says, but like he says, post a lot and post whatever, like even if it's low content, post it anyway. And I'm of the opposite perspective. I'm like post quality, like because I feel like sometimes all it takes is you posting one thing that people aren't gonna like because
Yeah.
it doesn't meet certain standards that of of creativity or potential, and then they'll instantly just dismiss you. Like no matter what you
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
out, again they'll dismiss you. So sometimes I feel like just throwing anything at the board, at the wall, and see what sticks isn't the best approach.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But yeah, when it comes to creativity, man, like I use my Instagram as a means to, one, like I said, showcase my music, but also uh, like let people know my thoughts. And I have a lot of thoughts about the state of the world, about space, about life. And then when it comes to everything else, like it's just natural. I never overthink even the videos. Like it's become so natural to me because I'm just being myself. I'm just being authentic. And I feel like a lot of people want to look for like what's the best thing to post, what should I post, what should I do? And I'm just like, be authentic on the platform and you will tell yourself what you think you should post.
Absolutely, 100%. But I seriously, I agree with what you're saying. Like sometimes you got to be careful what you're posting. Like sometimes you just want to post something that everybody's putting, whatever, or you have nothing better to put, so you just put something stupid. But at the end of the day, I don't know if you get this, because I don't know if you really look at how much, like who's following you and where your following is going, if it's going down or up.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice, probably like it's not recent. This is a long time coming now. People get like just like they like something for a bit and then they just like, oh, okay, what's the next new thing? It's like a toy. They play with a toy, and then it's like they throw it out. Okay, let's go get another toy.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, honestly, do you find it's just heartbreaking a bit when there's people that are like you had a really almost like your fans are almost like you have a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And then it's like they just disappear, or obviously there's life changes and everything, things get in the way. But I just find like, and it's not just that, it could be something else. It could be something political. It could be they're just having a bad day, so like, okay, screw you. Or like a lot of people say, oh, it's not good if you post a lot.
Yeah.
And I tend to just not care about that statement, because at the end of the day, we all know that Instagram, you got to put like 10 stories, a reel, just to keep the ball going.
Yeah.
So you got to do what's good for yourself, not what's good for one or two people, right?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you, man. Like you got to do, like if I post something that is like very important to me, like if I talk about, racism, or I talk about something along those lines, and then someone goes like, I don't want to hear you talking about these things. I'm not here for that. Yeah. I'm not going to now not talk about that because those people don't like it. Like I'm going to still talk about it because it's really important. It's really important for me. Like I would rather have a fan base that follows me, that is like of the people that want me to be me. I don't want anyone to try and tell me like, I only like you when you do this, but if you do this, I don't care anymore. I'm like, well, too bad for you, because I'm gonna do it all. Like exactly. So yeah, it's heartbreaking, but not because I'm losing followers. It's heartbreaking more so because it says a lot about how humans can be. Yeah. And it's a little sad, because when you live in such a tunnel vision mind, you're not allowing yourself to expand. Like if you just want like what's shiny and new always, then you don't let yourself.
You're a materialistic person.
Yeah, and you don't let yourself mature, so to speak, because like sometimes sticking with something and watching it grow is so beautiful, because you get to see it evolve. Some of my favorite fans are the ones that tell me like, yo, Steve, man, like I followed you like when you first started Instagram, and I'm so happy to see where you are. And I'm just like, dude, thank you, man. Like that means a lot, because they've seen the growth, they've seen the progress, and I feel like they know me sometimes even more than I know myself.
They believe in you too.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, yeah, if I've lost some followers along the way because they didn't like that I said something that like they didn't want to hear, then that's on them. That's not on me.
Yeah, exactly. So the big question also with the title, like how do we go out and just do what we got to do, have the confidence to do what we got to do, live our everybody says I hate my job, I want to do this, whatever. How do we just do it? Like, you seem like you're just like all worried, like, okay, let's go do this. Like how?
Yeah. I'm just like you, and it sounds cliche because I hate saying this, like, you just have to do it. Because it's on one end, if you just say that, then you also ignore the fact that some people don't have the ability to just do it. Some people live in circumstances that are just on there where they just aren't, they're just not
Yeah.
able. You know, they either live in poverty or whatever the case is, and that's a whole different ball game. But like, if you have the means to make your dream happen, and if the difference between you making your dream happen is just like sheer will,
Hmm.
then the answer is you just have to do it. Like it's for me because you know, like I would when I started, you know, pursuing music at the same time, and I still work in engineering, right? So I still have a
Hmm.
lot of things happening at the same time. I have a lot of
Yeah.
different things happening at the same time. But I could have easily said, oh well, you know, I work in the day, and then like, you know, in the evening I'm gonna be exhausted, so like I'm you know, I'm gonna do it like once a week or whatever. Like no, I would like finish the day, I will come home, I would go work on a song, I would like produce a track, I would go network, I was constantly on it, and it was just like I was
Yeah.
not letting the fact that I had responsibilities and certain things stop me from pursuing my passions. Like you can't, like you cannot wait for an ideal situation. Like if you're waiting for like the stars to align, if you're waiting for someone to come in and give you like a sponsorship package and be like, here is $1 million, you can now go off and live your dreams, you're just gonna be waiting. You know, you gotta be just waiting. Like sometimes life is gonna be like, yeah, you want to pursue your dreams, but also you gotta pay your bills. Also, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So like, yeah, you'd be like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do the things that I have to do, but I'm also not gonna ignore my dreams. I'm not gonna let them just die. And especially when we live in a world where we have access to internet, we have access to social media. Like I can collaborate with someone in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to fly to Tokyo anymore to go work with that guy or that girl or that whatever. I can literally collaborate with them online. We can send each other music, record in our different studios, and we can create a song. We can create an international song without having to leave our postal code. So like, so really it boils down to like how much you want something. Like it boils down to how
Hmm.
much you want something. Do you really want it? Like that you live out your dreams by doing it. Like
Yeah.
you do it. Like you put out, if you want to be a famous YouTuber and you know you want
Hmm.
to get those million subscribers, then that you gotta post, you gotta create. You can't just hope to God that like someone finds you and does it for you. You gotta do
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you know, it's true. What you're talking about is facts. You know, like I said, you have family, girlfriend, maybe a baby, a job, maybe you have personal problems. There's always something that gets in the way
Yep.
of pushing. And what I want to make clear, okay, is that it doesn't always go like this. You know, it goes like
No.
this, goes
Yep.
like this. Sometimes it goes like this, but then it
Yep.
can go slightly down. I mean, there's people that just like came up with amazing songs or whatever they did was just really good. They were really famous, making a lot of money, and then maybe a month later, 2 months later, I don't
Yep.
know, the labels don't like you anymore. Boom, you're done. You know,
Yep.
it's just there's so many people coming in and out the entertainment industry. It's like,
Yep.
and it's hard to deal with that. You know, and
Yep.
that's why we see people falling through the cracks. Like, well, one example would be the guy from the Mighty Ducks. There, what's his name? Sean, the one that ended up homeless. There, I can't remember his name.
I don't even know.
Goldberg. That was his name.
Okay.
And
Yeah. I know what you're
I
talking
don't
about.
remember his
Yeah.
actual name, but my point is that you could be like this, and then
And
all of a
then
sudden nobody cares about you.
yeah.
And let me tell you, it's very quick.
Yep.
It's very quick. You know, it's just you got to keep at it. It's like you said, you have a girlfriend, you have a dog, you have whatever. You got to make the time,
Yep.
and you have to make those people understand that this is what you want.
Yep.
You know, so like I said, I wanted to know about like networking, like, you know, like it's important to be social, right? Like that's just something that a lot of people don't get, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Like it's so important to be social and network, especially like I said, because you could be the kind of person that says like, well, you know, I'm an introvert, and 'cause I'm an introvert extrovert. Like
Yeah.
I love being around people, but I also love being on my own. But like you can say you're an introvert and you don't like to go to spots and network physically. But like again, with social media, you really don't need to necessarily even go to. You can network online. Like you need to network. You need to, you know, find people that are in your like if you
Hmm.
want the quickest way to grow your fan base, I can see the question. Like
Yeah.
one of the quickest ways to grow your fan base is collaboration. Like collaborating with other creatives. Like
Yeah.
if I was to do a song, like I said, let's go back to the person in Tokyo. If I was to, to find an artist in Tokyo that I really like, and I'll just DM them and be like, dude, I really love your music. I would love to work with you, and we end up doing a song. Then that song comes out. Then their fans will listen to, will hear my verse or whatever on their song,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Oh, snap! Who is this person?" And then they'll go check out my other stuff. And if they like what I do, I earn new fans. And same thing for the artist. The artists that my fans from like wherever will hear
Mhm.
them, and if they like them, they grow. They get new fans. I see it all the time.
You're
Where
right,
some,
though. You're absolutely right, Steven.
oh
Listen,
yeah,
when you collaborate with somebody that does the same thing as you,
yeah,
you're on the fast track of getting followers, subscribe, all that stuff. Like I
absolutely,
see it all the time. Like I watch. I don't know if you know, like card collecting cards, like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon,
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
I see like Yu-Gi tubers collaborating with Pokemon tubers, whatever. And let me tell you, their numbers go up pretty fast.
Yep.
It's literally the fast way to grow. You
Yep.
can literally start a channel tomorrow about Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever you want to do, and then all of a sudden you start collaborating. You automatically get those 500 people or 1,000 people from that person,
Yep.
and then it just snowballs. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So, but in everything with the algorithm and everything, it's like you need a bit of everything. You need like a good thumbnail, you need a good idea, but you also need the traffic source, and
Yep.
that's probably the hardest thing to get. A lot of people, they just end up paying for ads and for YouTube to push their video out more. I've always been the type to be organic,
Yep.
because the thing is, once you start paying for ads and stuff like that, you get a lot of views, sure, you get a lot of subscribers, but then when you stop paying,
It goes.
not only does it go back down, your confidence level goes back down.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what the hell's wrong with me and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just had to say that about the fan base stuff. But listen, you do work in tech. You said you're an engineer, right?
Yeah.
So how do you manage like the tech, the music, and everything else?
I just do. Well, I think. Well, I'm the kind of person that needs to do many things, and I'm lucky that I don't know if I was born this way, but like I'm a very technical, analytical, scientific human being, and at the same time I'm very creative, like spiritual and all that stuff. So like I'm able to see the world in both lights, like, and for me there's no disconnects. Like when I talk about science, I can see the music in it. When I talk about music, I can see the science in it. When I'm doing math, I can see the magic in it. When I'm talking about magic, I can see the math in it. Everything is intertwined, and I'm just able to see the world in that way because I'm able to always connect dots. So it's for me it's always been relatively easy to navigate both worlds because I don't see them as two separate worlds. Like when I'm working on a song, for example, and I'm mixing the song down and I'm working with the frequencies. That's math. That's signal analysis. Like, so I'm literally just doing some like software. I'm doing engineering. I'm manipulating signals. That's what it is. But at the same time, I can hear what it does, from an audio perspective in my ears, and go like I'm raising the low frequency, but I can hear what it does like as a bass in my ear. So like it's there for me. Both worlds exist in the same realm, in the same space. And I think that's how people can allow themselves to do multiple things, is by not seeing them as like different things, but realizing that they're all part of the same picture. And for me, I was just gonna see everything I do as part of like the Steven picture. Like everything I do, every single thing I do feeds the next thing. Like if one day I decide I'm not gonna work on music at all, I'm just going to work on my acting, go do a movie, and that's it. At the end of the day, I'm still growing my brand. Like I'm still growing my brand. If I go do a movie and like that movie comes out and like 1,000 people come to my Instagram, those are 1,000 people that are also gonna now go hear my music. So like no matter what I do, I'm feeding the Steven brand, so to speak. So that's just how I see it. Like it might be tiring some days where like I'm doing a lot of different things at the same time, but like I never really feel like I'm doing multiple things. I always feel like I'm just working on me. That's what I'm doing. I'm working on me. If I'm at the gym, I'm still working on me. Like I'll tell you this for example. So like the gym I go to, they're called Gym du Plateau. They're in the plateau.
Yeah.
So I went to the gym, and one night they stopped me, and they were like, we're very thankful because every time I went to the gym, I'll post a story about like myself at the gym, and they're like, we're
Yeah.
very thankful that you always post us at the gym. So for everything you've been doing, we're gonna give you like a discount on the
Huh.
gym. And suddenly I have this crazy discount at the gym just because I was posting them at the gym through my Steven Voice account. So like me working out is still connected to me making music, is still connected to me acting, is still
Exactly.
connected to me. It's all part of the same umbrella.
Yeah, we have Ryo Cat from Japan. What's up, Ryo Cat? Mega shout out to you.
Hey.
Usually asks all kinds of questions. So, so Steven, I'm under the impression that you're recently an actor and maybe even a filmmaker.
Yeah.
So, what have you been in? What movies have you been in?
Yeah.
What's your experience as an actor? What do you think about it? Do you see a future with it? What's up with that?
Do I see a future in it? Hell yes. So the first major thing I ever did, the first TV film audition I did, and I'll tell you how I got started first. I would make, this is back, like around the Vine era, like,
Yeah.
Vine, and like it was when Instagram just started doing video, and I would do all these little funny videos, like where like little skits where I'll play myself versus myself, I'll talk to myself, whatever. I did those little skits and people really liked them. And so I kept doing them because they made me primarily they made me laugh, so I did them. And because I was doing that, Instagram suggested people to me, and I suggested Nir Gazinski to me as someone to follow. So I started following him.
Oh, okay. I think we lost Steve for a second, guys. We're gonna wait till he comes back. What's up, Ryo? How you doing, buddy? So I was just asking Steve about his experience as an actor, guys. So he did get into acting. He's back right now. I got a second.
What happened there?
Yeah, we got a little glitch or something. I don't know. You just boop.
I just got this vanish. Anyway, so Nir. And then I liked his stuff. His stuff was hilarious. So I reached out to him on Instagram and I said, "Hey, dude, man, I like your stuff. We should meet up, grab a coffee or whatever, and let's like see how we can work together." We met up. We instantly like hit it off. Like I was just like, this guy is gonna be one of my good friends, and that was it. Now we're like best of friends. But I was like, let's make some skits together. So we started making skits together and like doing all these things. And he kind of took me under his wing, showing me like how to do certain things. Of course. And then over time, people were like, you need to think about taking this whole acting thing seriously. So I said, okay. I put together a demo reel based on all the stuff I had done with Nir. Yeah. And I sent it off to agencies. A few of them called me back. And there's one I really liked. They're called Glenn Talents. And I was like, all right, I really like you guys. I signed with them. And like a month later, I got a big audition and I got it. And before I knew it, I was in a TV show called The Bold Type. I think it's on NBC. It's now on Netflix in a few places. And I got like a role on that. And that was my first time at doing like a big, like it was huge. Like it was like a massive undertaking. And like that was my first real acting gig. And yeah, man, ever since then, I haven't looked back. It was just a blast to be on set with so many like professionals who have been, these are people whose career is acting. And here comes Steven, like fresh out of music, or like, I want to do this too. But they saw me on the same level. Like they were like, yeah, you're one of us. And that changed. Like it made me realize that like, if you put your heart and mind and most importantly, like your willpower and action towards anything, you will eventually get there.
Absolutely, 100%. So, Steve, like, you got a lot of positivity and everything, but when somebody negative comes around, or some people just comment maybe on your music or the way you look, or who knows what it is, but how do you deal with this negativity, this criticism? How do you handle that? The trolls, the negativity, the haters?
Well, initially, I won't lie, I didn't take it well. At the beginning, because like it's this thing like for anyone, like the social media is awesome, but like at the same time it's so new to humanity if you think about it.
It is, yeah,
like it's not like social media has been around for 50 years or whatever. It's been around for like what, maybe 20, not even 20 years now. Yeah, less than that. And so it's so new, and so when you have so many people being able to say great things about you, it inflates your mind. You're like, wow. But then when you get like people being negative out of nowhere and you're just like, where is this coming from? It's so easy to fixate on that. You're just like,
Yeah.
why are you mad at me? Like, what did I do? What is this? What? And it used to get to me, but then I learned over time that it says more about them than it says anything about you. Like if someone is because and especially so with my hair has gone through different phases of its growth. Like right now it's like I'm wearing a hat, but like it's like big. My hair is like this giant dread.
So if you remove your hat, is your hair gonna go up? Or?
No, not anymore. So
Okay.
before it used to be up, but like the more it grew, the heavier it got. Gravity pulled it down. But
Okay.
like it's a massive dread, right? And then so people will just be like, "Oh, what's that on your head?" And like and like
Are you kidding me? People say that.
yeah, they're like, "What's that on your head?" And I would and like I just look at those comments and I'm just like, it's sad that you're not able to deal with the fact that someone might be different from you and you cannot see the beauty in that difference. Like the fact that you're unable to see someone that doesn't look like you, that or someone that has something to them that you're not used to, and you're not able to go like, wow, that's cool. You know, for me, that is sad to live like that, to constantly look at things that are not like you and to have a reaction of like, ugh, what is that? Like, it's you're living in the prison of your own making. Like, for me, there's nothing more beautiful about the universe than diversity. And, you know, like, you get to look at different people who have different cultures, who have different customs, who have different whatevers. That's beauty. That's beauty for me. So, like, I don't understand how people can go online and just attack people for the hell of attacking people. It really says a lot about them. When people attack you for whatever reason, it's based on their own insecurities that they're projecting on you. And so whenever people are negative towards me, I usually kind of like wish them a good day. I'm like, and I'll tell them, I'm like, I really hope you find peace.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, I hope you find peace and I hope you find the love within yourself to get to a point where you will realize that what you're doing is messed up. And I do hope that you find peace. And I've done that a few times, and I've actually had people come around and be like, look, I don't know where that negative energy came from, but I want to apologize. I've had people straight up apologize to me, and like ever since then they become like followers and like we talk and stuff like that. So like, yeah, man, you sometimes you can't meet negativity with negativity. You just have to like sometimes meeting it with just like, hey man, like I hope you're okay.
You know,
like
it'll come around, right?
It'll come around. It might not come around today. They might cuss you out. Like,
yeah,
they might cuss you out, but like it will be in their heads. It'll be in their heads, and hopefully over time it'll change them for the best. And whether or not I ever see that change, that's fine. But as long as like somewhere down the line their life improves, and then they make a positive change, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So what's your least memorable moment of your career, Steve? Is something that made you cry? Something that a heartbreaking day with maybe your music or work? Like, well, I would say more like we're focusing more on the music side and the writing and the producing. What's one day that you just like you wish you forgot?
Well, it's gonna go back to when my mom passed. But I'll tell you, it goes more than just my mom passing. Well, not more than my mom passing, because that's huge. But like, I remember that day because it's like I said, back in 2000. It's back in 2010. And I had done one of my first big, well, for that point in time in my career, it was one of my first big shows. And it was at a club, and like it was probably like my second or third club show appearance. And I hired dancers, and I hired like an act to go before me and an act to go after me. Like it's the first time where I put so much energy into a show because I wanted to like really bring it. So the show happened, and before the show happened, my mom called me, and she was like, "Oh, I'm at the hospital right now." And I was like, and at this point in time, my mom was going through a lot of like medical issues. I won't get into that. But she told me she was at the hospital, so I said, like, look, I'm just gonna cancel the show and come see you. And she said, no, do your show and then come see me tomorrow. And then I said, oh, I was like, are you sure? She's like, yes, don't worry, I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. It's just like a routine thing. So I was like, okay. So I did the show, and like it was a big, like the crowd. I went into the crowd, and the crowd was singing the songs, and it was just a lot of fun. And it was just such a great night. And I remember going home like being really happy. I couldn't even sleep. I had all this creative energy, so I ended up just like going because I had my own studio, and I still do. But it was at my last studio. And so I went into the studio and I just recorded a song from scratch. I was like, I'm going to create a song. And I did that all night. And then like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning rolls around and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go see my mom now. So I'm getting ready to go see my mom. And then I get a call and I pick up the phone and it's like, the person goes like, are you Steven? And then I go like, yes. And they go like, I'm really sorry to say this, but your mom passed away. And like, when they said that, I couldn't even, like, I didn't understand. It's like instant shock. I just said, what? Just wake her up. And they're like, are you alone right now? I was like, yes. And they're like, I'm so sorry. And man, like, I've never had something in my life go from like feeling like euphoria of like just happiness completely crash me to like the darkest place I've ever been in. And from 2010 to 2011, after that happened, I couldn't tell you what happened in that year because I was in such a dark place and I turned to alcohol and drugs to numb everything. And for a full year, I don't remember it. I remember after the year, I would find hospital cards with my name on it. And I realized that I had been in and out of hospital a few times. I didn't even know because of things I was doing. And I just remember one day and I woke up and I was coming down from one of my highs and I saw myself in the mirror and I hated the person I saw. And I said, I need to do something about this. And so I decided to like pick myself back up. I went back to music, started writing and releasing the pain inside of me through music. And then this goes back to the first question you asked me. That's where Stephen Voyce was born.
Like, was it to the point where you were probably sleeping on the streets, or?
No, never. It was never to that point, but it was just to the point where I don't remember. Like I don't remember like that year. It's literally a lost year for me. Like I don't know what I did. I just know that I did a whole lot of numbing. I didn't want to feel anything to the point like I'm not apprehensive of that year. Yeah. And yeah, man, like
But Steve, I can tell you something, like, everybody goes through a rut in their life at least once. If it didn't happen for you now, it's probably going to happen, guys. But it happened to me in 2011, actually. It's funny, around the same time. I literally lost a year of my life, dude. I stayed home, and I didn't tell my parents that there was something wrong. Something happened, a fight with people, and I kept it all in, and, anxiety started to happen. It literally felt like someone was punching my ear. That's how bad the anxiety was. I lost about a year. Thank God. God bless my parents. They helped me out with it. And I ended up, because I never had a job at that point. Then I ended up getting a job, started to talk to people, started to get some confidence, some money to go out, whatever. And from there, I never looked back. I became a coach. I stood up to myself every time there was a bully or anybody trying to tower over me. I went back onto social media after not being on social media for 10 years. I came back in 2020 during the pandemic on YouTube and whatever else, Instagram or whatever you want to call it. So, like I said, there's always going to be a time that's going to test you in your life. It's either it works out or it just gets worse. Hopefully, it doesn't get worse for most people, but those just make you stronger. And I feel like I'll never hit a wall again. There's nothing that can take me down more than what happened to me.
Because you realize you first of all, I'm happy that you got out of it, but like you realize after that, it's like you see the world in a different light, and like no matter how bad things get, you can survive, you can push through. So yeah, man, kudos to you, man. Like I know, like a lot of people, when people fall into that dark place, it's easy to get stuck in it. But when you crawl out of it, and you will crawl out of it, but when you get out of it, man, like you're a new person.
Absolutely, 100%. So your most memorable moment of your career?
Most memorable, there's a few. There's a few. There's a few. But to be honest, okay, I'll tell you. I will tell you. Can I tell you two? I'll tell you two.
Yeah, no problem.
So one of the most memorable is, so I wanted to again, growing up, Michael Jackson, being a big fan and seeing him do songs like We Are the World or Heal the World and the Earth song. I wanted to make a song where I got to give back to the world, or where I got to like make something that not only touches people on an emotional level and gets them to think about humanity and how we can be better, but also helps literally give back to the world financially. And I had been put in contact a year prior to this with UNICEF Canada.
Okay.
I had done an ad with them along with other Canadian celebrities, which is kind of crazy. I did an ad with them with other Canadian celebrities, and the other Canadian celebrities were the likes of like Celine Dion, Keanu Reeves,
Wow.
and then you have Stephen Voice. I'm just like, what am I doing here? So, but but it was super dope. But anyway, I was in touch with them, and an idea started to boil in my head, and I had a song I was working on about like the world. The song was called "What's Going On," and so I had this idea. I was like, I want to release this song, but I want to release it with UNICEF and see if we can have all proceeds go to helping something. So I reached out to them thinking that they'll either go like, no, it's okay, or like, whatever. But I took the shot. They responded and they were like, we love the song, we love the idea, let's do it. And like a year later, the song "What's Going On" was released, and all proceeds now go towards any initiatives that they do to help children in unfortunate or sad circumstances in the world, and like less fortunate as in the world. And that just like, that is such a memorable experience, because I finally got to a point in my career where I can use the leverage of my platform to do something that literally has an impact, not just for me, but for people around the world. So that is such a powerful experience. The second one was one day, this is about 4 years ago, I got a text from someone, and he went like, so you know CeeLo Green?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes like, yeah, so CeeLo Green really likes your music. And I was like, what are you talking right now? I was like, I'm in a studio right now with CeeLo Green, and we're listening to your music, and he really likes it. I was like, what are you talking about? Then he sent me a video of CeeLo Green in the studio, like going like this, listening to one of my songs. And I'm just like, what? Like,
oh my God.
What is happening right now? It's actually, I had a few other moments like that. Like recently, I did a song with a producer, and then she reached out to me and she was like, I forget his name, but like, the Roots, the band. They're like, yeah, one of the members of the Roots is like listening to your song and he really likes it. I was like, that blows my mind. So like, it's stuff like that, man. It's stuff like that where like my idols listen to the stuff that I do and they go like, yeah, man, this is what I'm talking about. And that is just like, it's like the validation you need to remind yourself that, like, yeah, man, you're doing the stuff that you said you wanted to do. Like you're living out the dream that like childhood Steven wanted to see you live out. And that's Absolutely. Such a beautiful thing, man.
And I've read that you won awards. I mean, I forgot what else, maybe, but singles, maybe hit singles or label, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. But what are some of the awards you won, the accolades, maybe not records, but things you achieved?
Yeah, man. So like one of there's been a few, and I always forget which ones they are. But one of them was like in Calgary, and I think it's twice now. I could be wrong, once or twice, but we won like best hip hop like song to come out of Calgary. I won like a best song to come out of Quebec with back then it was called Mix 96, but Virgin Mix 96. Yeah. I've won from my movies. My first ever short film, which is a short film I released in 2019 called Mixed Signals. Won best movie moment at a movie award. It was nominated for a few other things. So I've been nominated and I've won awards for a few things. And it's just like, it's always blown my mind because I'm just like, honestly, when we're creating art, you notice like when you're creating something, it's not like you're thinking like, oh man, this is gonna win an award. Like you're not creating something go like, this is what's I want to win an award. You're just making something from your soul. Like you're making something, you're in the studio, you're putting time into it. And then you get an award, and then you wake up and then like you win an award for it, and you're nominated for something, and you just like and for me, what makes the award so special is not necessarily the award itself, it's the recognition in your industry, by professionals, who now see you as one of those professionals, because I don't think anyone ever gets to the point, at least maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I'll look at myself and not be in awe at the people that now look at me and go like, yeah, man, you're one of us. Cause I'm always just like, what are you talking about? Because like I'm still that kid who's living
Surreal.
who's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm still that kid who wants to like live out his dream. And then for people to tell you, yeah, I mean, you're living out your dream. You're just like, what are you even talking about? Like, what do you mean? So yeah, man, there's been a few awards and nominations, and they've all just kind of like made me like smile, man.
Nice. Well, listen, what advice can you give to somebody who's just starting off, an aspiring singer? Your domain would be what? What would it fall under your genre?
For the most part, I think it's at its core, it's like rhythm and blues.
Okay.
But I dabble in different things. But like I have a very like funk pop. Honestly, I do whatever feels right. To be honest, it's like
Okay.
I do whatever feels right.
So what advice can you give somebody starting off in 2021?
Yeah.
What can you say to them?
Honestly, and it's funny. I had a conversation a few days ago with an artist who was like up and coming in this year.
Yeah.
And he reached out to me because he knows my little brother. And
Mhm.
my little brother was like, "Yeah, you should reach out to Steven." And then so he took a chance. He reached out to me on Instagram, and I was like, "Of course we can talk." And I was like, "Let's just have a phone call." And he was
Yeah.
like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Yeah, let's have a phone call." So we had a phone call, and he was asking me like, what do you think I should do? With my Instagram and all that stuff. Like, what can I do? And I told him like the most important thing you can do is to be yourself. Is to be yourself. And when it comes to like what you show the world, don't just show them those polished moments.
Yeah.
Like let them see the behind the scenes because that's where people will connect with you. It's
Exactly.
like people because like growing up, we would like I would look up to the major artists, and you never felt like you could ever reach them because they were so far away. Everything they put out was just like so shiny and polished. And then but like now like with social media like where
Vlogging. Yeah.
I show people the
Yeah.
process, and so they never feel. I don't think my followers or fans ever feel like they're too far away from me. They always feel like they can reach out and talk to me, or
Yeah.
and I want them to when they see me to realize that like if I can get this far, like that means that you probably can too. And I
Mhm.
think that's one of the most important things is to share the process, because as you share the process, you're gonna see people appreciate the process, and you'll also appreciate the process.
Yeah.
But yeah, my number one advice is to be yourself. Don't worry so much about what's popping right now, or like what's the big trend right now. Like be yourself, because trends come and go,
Oh
but
yeah.
what's always going to be real, what's always going to be authentic, and what's always going to be you new is you, because you're always going to grow, you're always going to evolve, so you're always going to be the newest version of something. So just be yourself, and you'll always connect with your fans, because you'll never feel fake.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Listen, Steve. Wow. That I can make a TikTok out of that little for sure. That's an amazing
And do
answer.
it, please.
Well, there's many moments in this interview that I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. So we'll see. We'll see what makes the cut there. But what's in the pipeline for Steven? I know you said you came up with an album. Are you launching an album soon? Are you still in the works with an album? Can we see some touring? Uh,
So
what's coming up for Steven Voice?
so when it comes to music, because I've done the whole album thing. I've released like four albums between 2015 and 2017, and then
Mhm.
when 2020 rolled around, with the pandemic, I was just like, man, what can I do? I want to release music, but I don't want to drop an album. And then I thought about like, why don't I just release single after single, like once a month, just drop it? Because I feel like in today's world, the last thing I wanted to do was drop an album. People like listen to the album for like 2 weeks straight, and then like it just goes away, because like everyone
Really?
has like a very short attention span right now, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
So I was like, I don't want to do that. I want every single song to like have its time to really just marinate like in people's minds. So I was like, I'm just gonna drop a single a month. So I did that in 2020, and in 2021, I took a little break for like 6 months of releasing music, and I started again in June, and I released 2 singles so far. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Is like rather than dropping an album in one shot, I'm just like releasing singles. That way, like every single, first of all, it forces me to make every single song worth standing on its own, like, because you can, when you make an album, you can easily make like 5 like songs that can stand on their own, and you make like a bunch of smaller songs that like they can't really exist outside of that album. I wanted to make every single song stand out on its own. So that's what I've been doing. I've been just recording a bunch of stuff, collaborating with different artists. I'm working with Jess Abram, actually. We're going to be filming a music video soon for a song that I produced that I'm featuring in. I just finished filming like a short film, and I have a few other film projects in the that are going to be restarting. They all went on halt because of the pandemic, but now they're picking back up. So I have a few things, and at the same time, I'm also getting back into filmmaking and all of that stuff. So yeah, man, I'm just like I just have a bunch of stuff. And when it comes to touring, hopefully, if not this year, in 2022, I want to pick back up where I had intended on going in 2020, and that's to go on tour. So if it's gonna be maybe across Canada and the States, I don't know. I actually want to go to Europe a little bit.
That's I was asking. Would you go to Europe? You know?
Yeah, man, I want to go to Europe. I also want to go to Tokyo so bad, just because I want to go to Tokyo. So yeah, man. If anyone knows any dope artists, we were talking about Tokyo, like artists in Tokyo for like this whole interview. So if anyone actually knows any dope artists in Tokyo, link them up with me, man, because I want to work with them and I want to go to Tokyo.
Yeah, I gotta go to Tokyo. I gotta try the sushi. I gotta
man,
to do in Japan, for sure. So, listen, Steve, you've been doing amazing. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you very much for accepting the invite.
Of course.
Again, guys, I want to thank Nir Guzinski, the legend over here. This guy seems to be a legend. He keeps suggesting me guests, and like I said, bro, you're awesome.
Thank you,
guys. Like I said, for those of you that are watching the replay, you guys are equally as important. So shout out to you guys. For those of you that came by, thank you very much too. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends.
Yep.
Steven's just one of those guys you got to get to know, guys. You got to listen to what he said during this interview, because the guy, it's all facts. And listen, guys, next week on Monday, we have Talia Lajoie. I don't know if you know her, Steve.
I know the name.
You know the name?
I know the name.
She's a life coach, guys. And I think we haven't had a life coach yet. So that's going to be really interesting. And then on Wednesday, we have Alisa Malatesta. She's a soprano singer. I've heard her sing, guys. She's amazing. You got to see this girl. You got to see this girl sing. She's going to talk about a bit about her career, and then she's going to do a performance. And then on the Monday, the 30th of August, guys, so not this Monday, next Monday, we have the Ange TV show awards. You see these two things over here? This little one is called an Ange, okay? So it's a regular award. But what you want is this big trophy, guys, for super fan of the season, okay? Because over here it goes by season. So, guys, stay tuned for that. August 30th, more awards coming. And then we have a whole new lineup that I'm about to announce for September in terms of guests, all right? So, Steve, like I said, thank you very much for coming. We'll definitely keep in touch. Now that, everything's kind of like opening up, for sure, we should definitely link up somehow.
Yes,
maybe with Nir, that'll be cool. Grab a bite with Nir or something.
I would love that.
Or maybe even you want to do a little skit. We could do a funny skit together.
Yeah, I'm so down for that. Yeah, man.
The doors are open, and like I said, I appreciate you, man.
I likewise, man. Likewise.
No problem. Guys, me and Steven are signing out. Good night. Ciao. Ciao, guys.
Ciao.
Bye.